What is a toxic family? A toxic family, also known as a dysfunctional family, is a condition in which every member of the family hurts each other physically, mentally, and psychologically. Members of toxic families do not get enough support or become people who hinder the development of themselves and their siblings. Individuals in toxic families are rarely aware of their mistakes, but are easy to spot the faults of others. Toxic families can have a negative influence or impact on all family members. Signs of toxic family. If you suspect you're currently dealing with family toxicity, start by thinking about the way you feel after interacting with certain family members. Here are some more specific things to look for. Keep in mind that you may also recognize these from your childhood as well. You feel controlled. Toxic family members might try to control major aspects of your life, including your relationships and career decisions. They might imply, or say outright, that aligning with their expectations is a condition of their continued love and support. You don't feel love, compassion, or respect. It's normal for family members to have occasional disagreements. But at the end of the day, you should still treat each other with love and kindness. In a toxic family dynamic, you might feel contempt or disdain instead of love. A toxic family member might mock or belittle your choices, attack your vulnerable points, chip away at your self-esteem. Your family may not agree with everything you say or do, but they should still offer love and respect as you find your own path. You experience verbal, physical, or emotional abuse. Any type of abuse is toxic. It doesn't just apply to physical violence. Abuse also includes inappropriate touching, sexual gestures or innuendo, sexual comments about your body, name-calling, physical violence, sexual abuse, harsh or extreme criticism, gaslighting. Sometimes, abuse isn't easy to recognize. For example, you and a sibling might both toss out some pretty nasty names during an argument. Or maybe you end up throwing clothes at each other across your room. But you make up and apologize once you each express your feelings. If this type of behavior happens repeatedly and there's never any resolution, it might be a toxic relationship. There's substance use involved. A family member who sometimes uses, or even misuses, drugs or alcohol isn't necessarily toxic. But substance addictions and compulsive behaviors can sometimes lead to harmful and unhealthy dynamics in familial relationships. These signs can suggest toxicity: substance use that negatively affects mood or behavior, emotional abuse or physical violence as a result of intoxication, substance use that's hidden from outsiders and never discussed. A pattern of enabling addiction or substance misuse can also contribute to a toxic dynamic. Dysfunction is chronic or persistent. Very few families get along perfectly all the time. Disagreements, sibling rivalries, tense relationships, or miscommunications are common, especially during periods of stress or change. For example, a family member could temporarily behave in toxic or unhealthy ways because of problems outside the family dynamic, such as challenges at work or school, trouble with friendships or other relationships, health concerns or emotional distress, financial difficulties. These behavioral patterns should be temporary. The person responsible may apologize, express regret, and work to change their behavior once they become aware of it. True toxicity typically doesn't change or improve easily. At least, not without professional support. The bad impact of toxic family. Children who grow up in toxic or dysfunctional families mostly get negative effects. Children may tend to have distrust, anxiety, humiliation, and other negative emotions as they grow older. The impact of certain behavior patterns can be recognized in children from toxic families, including the following: have a poor self-image, and have low self-esteem and self-esteem, difficulty forming healthy adult relationships, and being shy or having a personality disorder, poor academic performance, due to trying to concentrate and focus, often and easily angered, and prefers to be alone, exhibits self-injurious or self-destructive behavior. Possibility of suffering from mental health problems such as depression, having suicidal thoughts, anxiety, paranoia, and others. Losing innocence is like a child's, having to take on great responsibilities at an early age. Lack of discipline due to a lack of role models to follow while growing up, and being irresponsible or destructive. Chronic feelings of guilt, shame, or worthlessness. Patterns of troubled or dysfunctional relationships. Vulnerable to addiction to alcohol, drugs, or smoking. Attachment issues, post-traumatic stress, parenting issues. How to respond to it. There's no right or wrong way to deal with toxic family members. Some people choose to cut off contact entirely. Others try to work with the situation by limiting contact with toxic family members and taking steps to protect their emotional well-being when they do see their family. If you have a toxic background, or if your current family situation has toxic elements, these tips can help you navigate meetings and cope with any challenging or difficult moments that come up. Decide what you want. Identifying what you want from the relationship can help you develop a clearer idea of the boundaries you want to set. Having limits around interaction can empower you and help you feel better about the contact you choose to maintain. But once you set those limits for yourself, try not to cross them. Wavering can put you back into a difficult or unhealthy situation. Keep your distance. One way to distance yourself emotionally is to limit yourself from sharing personal information with toxic family members. Likewise for not responding to or answering personal questions from family members. You don't need to share everything with your family. You might find it helpful to keep significant details private from toxic family members who have a history of using them to criticize, mock, or manipulate you. Talk to someone. Sharing your feelings with someone can be very helpful when you are in a toxic family. Working with a mental health professional or psychologist is ideal, but opening up to a partner or friend can also help. You don't have to share every detail. Sometimes even giving a general picture of the situation can help you express some of your frustrations and distress. Be creative. Conflicting situations can pave the way for creativity and expression. To overcome the negative effects of a toxic family, express yourself in a healthy way to your family and loved ones. Share thoughts and discuss how to rebuild the relationship. Don't try to change anyone. When dealing with toxic family members, it's not uncommon to hold out hope that they'll change. You might fantasize about the day they finally realize how they've hurt you and get to work on changing their behavior. Sure, people can and do change, but it's beyond your control. Beyond telling them how you feel, asking them to consider your perspective, and encouraging them to talk to a therapist or other professional, there's not much you can do. The only person you can change is you. This might involve addressing negative feelings they cause, practicing self-compassion, or learning how to say no. Build relationships with family. Toxic families are emotionally unstable. To rebuild a broken relationship, start by taking small steps, such as learning to forgive and support your family. Build trust. Although it's not easy to grow up in a toxic family, that's hard to trust. If you have unbelieving parents or siblings, this is a tendency that will stick with you into adulthood. With patience, try to learn to build trust among those closest to you. Toxic family dynamics can be hard to recognize. Any behavior or scenario that makes you feel unloved, unwanted, or even just bad about yourself is most likely not a healthy one. All families struggle from time to time, but members still feel loved, supported, and respected. A toxic or dysfunctional family dynamic, on the other hand, can feel unstable, tense, and charged, and toxic family members can cause a great deal of harm. If you've recognized toxic patterns in your family, consider reaching out to a therapist who can help you explore the effects of toxicity and offer guidance as you consider how to manage the situation. Please like and share if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to see our latest videos. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.